Hang on just 1 second, sports fans. Got one note to send to my producer, Jeff, before he resigns and joins the clown brigade. Got to send it over to Jeff. Jeff, it is coming over as we speak. All right, on the way. Now, want to grab clip number 6. We got this showdown over there in Ukraine with Vladimir Putin. They've basically taken over Crimea. And Crimea, in my judgment, I told you this last week, I think Crimea's gone. I mean, the Russians moved in there before the Ukrainians mobilized, before they even realized what was happening to them. I don't think there's any way the Ukrainian army is going to drive the Russians out of Crimea. So Crimea, which is largely Russian, I mean, the majority of the population are ethnic Russians in Crimea. So that's gone. That's gone to Russia. Now the question is what is going to happen to Ukraine. Now, part of the problem, it goes back to the difference between President Obama and a President Reagan, who believed in peace through strength. And what President Obama believes is peace through weakness, peace through capitulation, peace through surrender, peace through doing absolutely nothing. And Charlie Rose had Dick Cheney, who was vice president under George Bush, and Cheney was a guy that was strong on national defense. He understood the importance of a strong national defense for our security and to serve as something of a check on the rogue nations of the world. And Charlie Rose asked Dick Cheney this question: is Charles Putin afraid in the least of Barack Obama? Here's how it went.
So that's the question. Do you believe that President Putin believes that President Obama is weak and will pass through his red lines, and therefore he should be tested?
No, I don't know whether he believes he should be tested. I think there's no question but he believes he is weak. He has seen this so-called reset policy that's led to giving up on the ballistic missile defenses, for example. We have created an image around the world, not just for the Russians, of weakness and indecisiveness. The Syrian situation's a classic. We got all ready to do something, but a lot of the allies signed on at the last minute. Obama backed off.
So Dick Cheney says there is no question that Putin believes that Obama is weak. No question about that. And that weakness always invites aggression. Reagan understood that, and that's why he believed in peace through strength. Now, clip number 7, the wheels are really coming off the wagon on Obamacare. We played the green eggs and ham, raucous reception at CPAC when Sarah Palin poked fun at Obamacare. Here is Candy Crowley. Charlie Crist used to be a Republican. He's now a Democrat. He's the biggest cheerleader. He's about the only cheerleader for Obamacare that's left on the planet in this galaxy. And he's just bloviating this happy smoke about Obamacare. And here's Candy Crowley, CNN, and she actually presses in on him a little bit. Let's listen.
In the end, you did see about 300,000 Floridians did lose the health care they currently had. They may have signed up by now. They have found alternatives, etc. But they had insurance that they liked, but it didn't fit under the restrictions of, or the qualities of what Obamacare wanted in an insurance policy. You also have this Medicare Advantage where it may see some cuts. We're not sure how that will work out, but certainly in Florida there is real fear that seniors who are using the Medicare Advantage plan will in fact see their list of doctors shrink. None of that, you don't think any of that will happen? What do you worry about?
I don't think that will happen, and I think that people on the other side are using that as a fear tactic, and it's wrong. And I think what's important to remember is
some did lose their insurance that they had. I mean, that's a fact.
So Candy Crowley, Charlie Crist trying to blow smoke at her, and, they're used, the pro-Obama fanboys are used to having the liberal media like CNN accept their bloviation without challenging it, without correcting it. And Candy Crowley says, look, no, you're saying it's all hype, it's all scare tactic. I'm saying 300,000 Floridians lost their insurance, and there are going to be cuts coming to Medicare Advantage. And the reason seniors like it gives them choices. That's exactly why President Obama tried to cut it off at the knees. So he's trying to cut Medicare Advantage off, and that's going to hurt seniors that like the choices they have under Medicare Advantage. Now, here's George Will, clip number 8. George Will talking about the fact that not even President Obama really is out there defending Obamacare. Let's listen.
By now, this is both amusing and amazing. It's amusing because with metronomic regularity, a new day, a new delay, the people must be having office pools on what will be delayed next about this. It's amazing because this is called his signature achievement. It's not his signature achievement. The Affordable Care Act is his only achievement. He didn't get climate change, the cap and trade, immigration reform. Let's talk about foreign policy or not. Worst recovery on record. This is all he's got, and he's paid this huge price for it. It's one of the reasons the Democrats lost the House in 2010. It's the reason they may lose the Senate in 2014. Yet he somehow won't defend it. It's a tapestry of coercions. He had to know there'd be resistance to it. It's mandates, taxes, it's regulations. And as soon as people get unhappy with it, he delays it. He retreats from it. Now, if he won't fight for it at this point and insist that it makes sense and stay the course, to use Reagan's old language, who will? He's not even running for office ever again. Who will defend it if he won't?
So George Will saying, look, everybody says this is his signature achievement, and George Will says, no, it's not. It's his only achievement. He's got nothing else done. Remember, they had 2 years. They could have pushed through any climate change stuff they wanted to, global warming stuff. They didn't do anything. Now they're going to have this all-night dog and pony show tonight where they're going to imitate Ted Cruz and bloviate endlessly about global warming for an entire night. Well, they had a chance in 2000. They could have passed anything they wanted, and yet they did absolutely nothing, got nothing done on gun control. The only thing, the only legislative accomplishment that Barack Obama can point to is Obamacare, and not even he is out there trying to defend it. In fact, he has to modify it and change it every chance he gets. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to David in Mission Valley, Texas. David, welcome. Thanks for calling. Thanks for waiting. What's on your mind?
Fine, I love you. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, we're right at the end of time, and all truth has to be restored, but yet we're in this great apostasy. Now, the apostasy consists of people thinking they can go to church and people saying go to church. But we've got to see that Jesus made all his disciples outside of tradition, outside of what men call go to church. You can't go to church. You must be the church, a dedicated, holy, mobile temple of heaven here, present by God. Tradition is just money changing. It's a trap for those who think they're wise enough to make a deal about the price of life. The true church is one that's sent.
Oh, well, listen, I appreciate those words, David. And are you reacting in some measure to the story about what that church in Seattle is doing to try to get its pastor on the New York Times bestseller list, or is it more of a general kind of reaction to the state of the church and where we're at with, say, the divorce and marriage issue?
Well, it's the apostasy that we're in that's caused by the teachings of men, beginning with separating the body from Christ, the body they have, which was broken in many pieces and given to every one of us. The true church is the body that's dedicated to God in pure love and sent everywhere at all times, given, shared his love.
All right, David, listen, I appreciate that. And, this is not what David is talking about particularly, but it strikes a thought in my mind. People talk about the church and the parachurch, and, my observation is there is no such thing as a parachurch organization because every one of us is the church. We're all a part of the church. There's only one church. We're all a part of it, whether we belong to some sort of formal denomination or a denominational church, or whether we're a part of what people call a parachurch organization. There's just one church, and we are all a part of it. We are the hands and the feet of the Lord wherever we happen to be. Let's go to Jeremy, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Jeremy, welcome. What's on your mind?
The marriage and divorce rate in the Christian church.
Yes, go ahead. What are you thinking?
Well, I think that the reason that actual involved Christians have a higher stability rate in marriage or a lower divorce rate in marriage is because they're doing something that is an integral part of marriage, something that's absolutely essential to marriage, which is commitment. They're showing commitment every time they go to those church doors, every time that they pray to God, every time they're doing anything in the Lord's name, even if they don't, even if they don't feel like they're getting anything out of church, even if they're committed to God. And that's a huge part of marriage is commitment.
Well, that's a good point, Jeremy, is that commitment to God, allegiance to him, pursuing him, seeking him, being faithful to his commands, being faithful to be a part of his work on earth, whether we feel like it or not. I mean, that's a quality of character, and that's the same thing that's necessary to make a marriage last over time. You know, Deb and I have often made that observation, and I stressed that when I did premarital counseling. Look, the key to your marriage is commitment. It's not love. It's not being in love. It's commitment, a decision that you make to commit yourself before God. You are going to love this person until death do you part. All right, Jeremy, listen, I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's grab a quick call from Steve to wrap up the program. Steve, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Talk to me.
Hey, I just want to congratulate you and all of AFR. As much as I love Fox News, they don't hold a candle to the depth, breadth, and value of information that AFR puts out there. To quickly segue on this last caller, my parents were married for 54 years. Many of those in my teenage years were not really happy, to where I often wish they would just divorce. But now that I'm about to celebrate my 30th anniversary, I cannot thank them enough for having stuck together to their vows and commitment.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, Steve. Well, and thank you for doing that. And thank you for committing your parents and, you know, for sticking it out through tough times. And, you know, Steve is bearing witness to what I said earlier. You know, kids never get old enough to have their parents divorce. If you stick it out through tough times and you do it because it's the right thing to do, you do it for the sake of your partner, and you do it for the sake of your kids, they will live to thank you. Well, that's it for today. Do not forget to bow low before God, stand tall before man, stand in the gap, and never forget, with God's help, we are fighting a winnable war. We'll see you tomorrow.